Hi guys, James at RampantLionReviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to go to Kure Beer from Hiroshima Prefecture, and this is one of two beers that I actually brought back with me when I went down to Hiroshima a couple of weeks ago. Really nice city actually, even though it's known for the atomic bomb. That they've rebuilt it, and I actually really enjoyed my time down there. So we're going to try one of the little local breweries there, and this one, as I say, is Kure Beer. And it is their Weizen. Kure Beer kind of means like navy. It means like naval beer, so hence why they've got the ships and the rising sun and things on this one. But this is actually quite nicely presented, I think. So this one should be quite an interesting beer, as is the case with most Japanese Weizens and most German ones actually. It comes in at 5% alcohol. It was rated quite highly from what I saw. It was rated, I think, 72 overall, but 90 within the style. So should be a pretty interesting one for us to try. So anyway, as is usual with my reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery. If you do want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my future reviews that I'll do from Kure Beer. Very first time I'm trying their beers, of course. There's all the usual social media. Make sure you check that out. If you want to see more beer reviews, do subscribe to the channel. If you're particularly interested in Japanese beer reviews, go to the channel homepage and simply search Japan. All of the things will pop up. The whole channel is based on geography, so you can do that for any country, any city, whatever you like. And of course you can check out Casey and Eric's channel, Sotogami Akihabira, two American guys in Tokyo who dedicate their channel to Japanese craft beer, although they are doing a few other things over the next little while too, but make sure you check them out. So anyway, to tell you a little bit about Kure Beer. So Kure Beer was founded by Sasaki Masaharu in Kure, Hiroshima Prefecture in Japan. The official name of the company apparently is Wu Brewery, and the beer has the name Kaigun Sanso Bakushu, which it roughly translates to kind of naval beer or like maritime beer. It's something like that it translates to. But most of the beers are brewed using German ingredients, and they're brewed using the German purity law as well. But they say that all of their beers have an expiry date of 60 days after they're bottled, which means that their beer is actually very difficult to find outside of the Hiroshima area. And they also have their own restaurant in Kure, which is apparently only 5 minutes walk from the JR station. When I was looking at it, they've got a lot of German foods and things like this, and they've got the old kind of copper style kettle. So it seems that these guys really do kind of embrace the old sort of German brewing spirit. But that's all I can really tell you about this brewery. There wasn't too much information available about these guys online. I couldn't even find out when they started, so I would be guessing that it's sometime around like 97, 98 perhaps, because that was just after when the tax laws were that was after they changed the tax laws on beer, and most of these little microbreweries popped up around that time. But yeah, this one's quite nicely presented. Just to list the other beers you can get from these guys, there's the barley wine, the imperial lager, the pilsner, the weizen, the kulsch, the alt beer, kure ginjo, and also the shiramara beer as well, which should be, they all sound quite nice, and they were quite highly rated when I looked at Rate Beer. A lot of them were rated quite highly within the style, but not overall, so I'm not really kind of sure what to make of that. So I guess these guys are pretty good at brewing German beer. So as I mentioned to you, this guy is a 5% Weizen. You can see it's nicely presented there with the ship and the rising sun. The thing that I was a bit confused at with this guy, in the katakana on top here it says Weizen. So it is that's how you know it's a Weizen beer, obviously. But the katakana on this one is different from the last Weizen I reviewed for you, which was the ocean beer, the one with the whale on it. Because they were saying it was Weizen, but this one is Weizen, which is quite interesting. I guess they've got a couple of different ways they can spell these things using the kana. I just noticed that when I was actually prepping for the video. But yeah, you can see quite nicely presented, and this is what I was saying. This was where it was saying the Kaigun-san no Kaigun-san no Bakushu. I think that's what this says here. Kaigun-san no Bakushu beer. So yeah, it's basically maritime beer. Should be quite interesting. So let's get this guy out, and we'll get on with the tasting then. You can see it's actually got the anchor on the top of this one, so they're embracing that navy spirit as well. So let's get this guy out and we'll get on with the tasting then. Pop top, and there you are. Not much of a smoky opening out of this one, but yeah, let's get it into the glass and see how we get on then. So I guess you will need to go to Hiroshima Prefecture to actually find this beer for yourself. I didn't realise that you wouldn't be able to get it outside of there. I bought this one just next to the Hiroshima Dome. Actually, there was a little kind of souvenir shop, and I've got another beer that you'll see me review quite soon as well that's from Hiroshima. I got that in the same shop. But Hiroshima is actually a beautiful city, even though a really kind of horrible thing happened there. They've rebuilt it, and it was out of the cities I've seen, I've really enjoyed Sapporo and Hiroshima. Hiroshima was it was just really nicely done how they'd rebuilt it and everything like that. But definitely worth going and checking out. The Peace Park obviously is something that you really have to go and see. So as you can see with this beer, this one's poured a really quite bright yellow orange amber. There was a half finger or so of a frothy white head, but that's just faded away to be a very thin foamy layer. There's quite a bit of sediment visible in this one. They said on the website that they leave the yeast in the bottles, and that's why they recommend that you drink it within 60 days of the bottling date, and I am doing that with this one. It says it was bottled on the 27th of June. So this one, it's not quite the 28th of August yet, so it should still be in good condition. But as you can see, it's completely opaque. If I put my fingers behind, you can see there's no transparency to it. It's definitely kind of opaque in colour, this one. But let's have a look at the aroma then. Now this one is, the bready character on this is really interesting. There's a very sweet doughy yeast aroma coming off this one. The banana is quite subtle. Yeah, this one's all about the doughy bready yeast. There's a little bit of a kind of honey, almost slightly toasted honey caramel thing coming off this one, which is quite interesting for a Weizen. Normally you don't get that. But definitely a slightly toasted honey aroma coming off this beer. That smells quite nice. You can pick up a little bit of the sort of clove and the kind of clove and peppery spice on this one. But it's just interesting, you've got that big doughy bready yeast, and then it's really the caramel and honey that's kind of throwing me on this one. Those are the most prominent components of the aroma. And of course you can get little bits of the German noble hops, you know, a little bit of earthiness, some floral grassy character, a little bit of citrus too. You can pick up those kind of notes. But yeah, you can definitely pick up that in this. So just take a bit of time and enjoy the aroma of this one, because it is just a little bit different. Yeah, this is quite unusual. I'm looking forward to trying this one. So let's get stuck into this beer then. So this is the Kaigen-san no Bakushu, or Kure Beer Weizen. So this one should be really interesting. Kampai. Make sure you go and check out Hiroshima, somewhere you really need to go and visit in your lifetime. Kampai. Now that's pretty good. That's a nice, really drinkable Weizen actually. I can see where the beer rating on this one comes from, because within the Weizen category it's very good. And as I said in a couple of the videos I've done, and the ones with Casey and Eric, usually the Japanese beers that copy the German styles, they're more about blending the flavours together, like everything is there, but they just tone it down a little bit, and it's more about how they blend. And of course that's how Japanese food is. Japanese food isn't punchy in its flavour, it's all about how everything blends together. This beer is just a little bit more punchy, which is nice. So I can see where the rating in this one comes from. It was 72, 73 overall, but then it was 90 within the style. This is a good Weizen. I'll say that straight up. This is a good Weizen beer. Yeah, the fact that they've left the yeast in this one, you can tell, because the malt base is just that bit more prominent. Of course, with a Weizen beer, you do want that, or at least that's how I like them. I like the malt base to be the more kind of punchy thing in this one. It's always good to have a little bit of hoppy character, but for me, a Weizen, the focus, with it being a wheat beer, the focus always has to be on the malt base for me. And the malt base in this one is quite interesting. So this one does have a little bit of hoppy character, you know. The carbonation brings that out early on. You've got a bit of grassy and floral character. It's quite juicy around the edge of the palate, as I was saying, but it's nice juicy. And then you get the kind of floral character, the little floral dryness at the front corners, and it's more grassy around the front curve. And just behind that front curve of your palate, you get the little oily bubble, and there's a bit of kind of fruity kind of juicy citrus coming out of this one. The middle of the palate though is really interesting because you get the big bready doughy yeast in this one, and it really is bready and wheaty in this one. You really get that. And then there's just a little bit of the clovey spice. The banana is mixed in. The malt base is prominent, but then the malt base has the complexity where it mixes together. But you can also get a little bit of a slightly toasted kind of caramel flavour to this one, and that makes it a little bit different, which is what I like. But yeah, that's a nice beer. This is one of the best Weizens, I would say, that I've tried from Japan. I would go that far and say that with this one. It just, as I say, I like that the German Weizens I always came across, they had a really big malt base, and this one kind of replicates that quite well, I'd say. This is probably the best Weizen that I've had in Japan so far. Fujizakura Heights have a good Weizen, and it is really quite nice. But this one I would say is maybe even better than that. So yeah, if you find yourself in Hiroshima, definitely give this guy a go. As you move into the aftertaste of this one, the aftertaste is interesting because that smooth wheaty character just stays there, and you've got the nice slightly toasted kind of malty character going on there. The floral aromaticity just lingers too. You get that little bit of dryness, and the caramel's there as well. But this is a really nice beer, and I would recommend that you give it a go. Really, really nicely done, this one. So, Kure Beer Weizen. In terms of the mouthfeel of this one, I'd say it's mid-bodied. Carbonation does have a little bit of a prickle as you take it in, but overall, it's quite oily, I'd say. Flavour obviously leans towards the malt side of things. It's got a good bit of sweetness, very, very smooth overall, but you do have just a little bit of hoppy dryness as you move into the aftertaste. The hops are quite wet, I think, in the initial stages, and then you've got a little bit of fruity juiciness too. But like I say, overall, this is probably one of the best kind of Weizen beers that I've come across in Japan so far. I certainly wouldn't hesitate to drink it again, and this one makes me want to try a few of their other beers too, but I guess I'll have to go back to Hiroshima to actually get some of those. So yeah, this one was Kure Beer Weizen, really nicely presented actually. I really like the artwork on this one, but this was really cool to review. So do let me know your own thoughts on this beer in the comments section below. Let me know what your favourite beers from this brewery are. Hopefully I can try some of their other things at some point for you too. On the basis of this one, I guess their German style beers are pretty damn good. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this beer review. Thank you for watching. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual stuff. As I said, let me know your own thoughts on this beer and your favourite beers from the brewery. It would be interesting to hear from you guys. Thank you for watching. Until the next time, Kampai. Make sure you try some of the Kure beers from Hiroshima if you come across them, and make sure you check out Casey and Eric at Sotogami Akihabara. Until the next time, Kampai just now. Make sure you go and visit Hiroshima. Lovely place.